Now, who would have thought we would have been back in France this soon? Not
Came
me.
out of nowhere. I was not expecting to pack my bag so true.
But I'm not mad. I am not mad in the slightest, and I'm very excited for this video here today. Bonjour et bienvenue à The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real in the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy, say something gay, and at this exact moment in time, I am just drinking some water, because it is a busy podcast day, and I didn't grab anything else.
Mm-hmm. And hi, everybody. It's me, your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva. And I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. I, too, am just drinking on some water because hydration is important. And I also have the most important cup of them all, and that is our cup mug. Eeyaw. Panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. France!
France!
And you can get your new and improved cup mug because I finally did it. I finally made the changes. So anybody who's getting cup mugs from this point on, well, who ordered cup mugs, you're going to get the cup mug the right way, where the logo is actually on the right side and on both sides. I fixed it, y'all. I fixed it.
I was telling Lana in our last recording I need to go get a new one now.
I will be also getting a new one, so I won't have
one you can use, Logan.
What?
Correct.
One you can use.
And then when we go to DragCon next year, I will get it signed.
And it makes sense to have the logo on this side. So you will be getting a new and improved cup mug. So check that out. And I am learning Etsy, and I did not know that my stuff was taken off of Etsy, but it's back. Most of them are back. So I'm learning. I'm getting things together.
David.
Thanks, David. And I will be trying to get more things onto the Etsy shop and get it back together the way I like it to. This weekend is where I'm working on it this weekend. So check out the Etsy shop, LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. The link will be in the description below. And as usual, we ship domestically and internationally. So there are no excuses. France, looking at you. Get it. Period.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I had to wear it. It's my Nikki Doll shirt.
Absolutely.
Yay! I wonder why you're wearing that on this occasion, David.
Maybe because she's on my dream cast list for All Stars, according to my semi-viral tweet.
Period.
But I'm just drinking some water right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am very excited to be doing this video today because we are diving into our fan cast for the recently announced, as of today, Drag Race France All-Stars! Yay! And I will say, because I am aware of some tea of some All-Stars seasons that are happening on other franchises, other ones that are happening, I was not aware of this one. This caught me off guard, all left field, and I'm thrilled about it.
I will say, when I woke up this morning, I got on Twitter. I was in a daze. I was half asleep. And the first thing I saw was this Wow Presents Plus tweeted out that there was going to be Drag Race France All-Stars. And I'm like, wait, what? I haven't heard it. Is this Wow Presents Plus?
Right.
So I thought it was Wow Presents Plus.
I swear, I checked to make sure. Like, I kept reading. I'm like, is every letter there? I went to their page and I'm like, they have 20,000 followers. Surely Wow Presents Plus has more than 20,000 followers. But sure enough, it was legit. And I'm like, okay.
I checked the Twitter. I checked the Instagram. I was like, nope, that is real. That is actually Nikki Doll's face.
That's wild. That's wild. But I love it. I love it. I'm excited.
Big fan. We love France over here. Yeah.
And I'm more excited because I've only not seen one season of France. I've seen the last 2 seasons of France. So I'm like, I can almost give a decently full list of between 2 and 3. But then I'm breaking the fourth wall here because I got offended for no reason. because I thought that Logan and David were talking and conspiring against me and not letting me be a part of the video.
Oh, I
Because
would never.
I didn't think they wanted me here because they were like, you didn't watch season 1. And so out of spite, I went and watched 4 episodes of season 1 because I was like, you will not include me in this here video when I feel like I
Period.
can
It's
be a
good,
part of it.
isn't it?
It was the first 4 were really good, and I was impressed.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I might finish it. Maybe I'm not making no promises, but I enjoyed what I saw, and it
With
gave me a good idea of who I liked in that season.
yeah. With 5 active drag franchises and another drag series you don't watch, I don't blame you for not watching more than 4. I'm shocked you watched 4, and I appreciate you for it. But we are excited. So we have each come up with our own individual list of the queens that we would like to see on Drag Race France All Stars. And then I have come together and combined all of our, I'm not going to say excitement points because that is a Block Talk exclusive, but I will say engagement points. Shout out to Michael Block. Go check out Block Talk, of which David and I have been on several episodes, and maybe Lana will go on eventually. But I've put together our overall top 10 list of what the Cup feels should be the cast of Drag Race France All Stars. And shocker, enough queens tied that we actually have a list of 14 and not 10. So there are 14 queens we're going to talk about here today that we would like to see on Drag Race France All Stars. Very excited to do it, and we're going to dive right into it. Before we do, though, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time, giving you almost all things drag. We've got a lot of fun drag things coming y'all's way very, very shortly. Stay tuned to this space, because we've got a lot of fun for you all. And make sure to check out the description below where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, our Patreon, our social media, and where you can get your merch. All those links are down below. And let us know down in the comments your fan cast for Drag Race France All Stars. So let us know, who do you want on the cast? Who do you want to see again? All those lovely things. And without further ado, bless you, we're going to dive into our list. And first and foremost, Nikki Doll is the Mona Lisa. Nikki Doll is the Mona Lisa.
That's different than it looked when I went to see it in person in France this year.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure it looked different, but it's beautiful nonetheless, right, David?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Of
Yes.
course.
Now, some clarifying things before we dive in. First and foremost, neither David or Lana included queens from Francophone-speaking Drag Race franchises. However, I did. So there are 2 people on the overall list that are from a French-speaking or Francophone Drag Race season, but otherwise, all of the queens do come from Drag Race France. And secondly, because it did come up on, I'll go ahead and say Lana's list, due to the fact that recently, La Grande Dame has announced that they have quit drag, at least for the time being. We don't know if they will come back, whatever. Go stream their music. It is actually incredible. But it seems like World of Wonder is in some way included in it. So shout out to La Grande Dame. Love La Grande Dame. That is why I am using my La Grande Dame fan today. But La Grande Dame will not appear on this list simply just due to the fact that currently they don't do drag. So, out of respect for La Grande Dame, out of respect for Dada. So we're going to give our list. I did want to shout out our honorable mentions, the queens that made our lists individually, potentially, but did not make our overall list. And there are 7 of them. So our honorable mentions are Lula Strega from season 3.
She was on my short list. Oh,
We have Ellipse from season 1.
I put Ellipse on my list.
Both of you did.
Dang.
My only choice from Drag Race Belgique being Peach from season 1. I had to include Peach. Had to include Peach. I love Peach.
It would be very confusing having a Peach and a Peach on the same season.
I agree. La Big Bertha David from season 1. Ginger Biche from season 2. Punani from season 2. And La Kahena from season 1.
I put Punani on my list too.
I didn't, but it's not because I don't want to see her again. I just I have to see her again at some point, but I couldn't just have so many people from season 2 on my list. I had to spread the
You
wealth.
still did, David.
I had a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I
But I'm
spread
shocked Lula
Lula.
is not on there.
Lula
I
is
was
the bottom of. She is number 15.
Okay.
You are the
I
only
was
person to put Lula.
I was going to put Lula. Like literally she was 13 out of the 12. But I was like, no.
I honestly think Lula is one messy finale lip sync away from being a winner of Drag Race
Mm.
I
France.
agree. I
Well,
agree with you.
so
I agree with you completely.
look, she might come back
Completely.
and we just
And honestly,
I wouldn't be mad at it.
If any of these 7 queens came back, I would also be just as excited.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I put La Cajena 12th on my list because I just think it would be the funniest thing for her to come back and be a 3rd-time pork chop. And I would hope that that didn't happen. But
That's awful.
and shout out to friend of the pod, Be Like Boy, who said La Cajena has a chance to do the funniest thing, and she does. So it would be funny. But we're gonna move on to our actual list. So coming in at number 10, with 6 points overall, all of those points coming from David.
Oh.
We have Ruby on the Nail from season 3.
Wait, I'm the only one who had Ruby on the Nail on their list?
Correct.
Ruby was number 14 or 13.
Ruby
No,
was on my
14.
short list for sure.
She was number 14.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
had 21 queens across all of our lists, David. So
that's fair, but Ruby is another person that was super close to winning, and some people, myself included, might say probably should have won. Probably should have won.
Well,
I mean, I think Ruby is really good, but the only reason she didn't make my list like top because I feel like she would be really, really good. But when you put her in a season full of all-stars and some of these girls, I feel like it might be get a little edge over Ruby. I love Ruby. I think she would do well. If she is on this cast, baby,
Thrilled.
I'll be happy to see her.
We'll
I
be
think she
rooting
will
for
do-
her.
Mhm.
And she would probably do well, but I feel like it's other people that might just
Yeah.
I think she
just a
just
little
needs money for some good looks, and then she could be
Yeah.
unstoppable.
I can see that.
The main reason I didn't put Ruby on my list ultimately is I actually think her English fluency is a little bit better than some of the other queens across Drag Race France, and I would maybe actually like to see her judged by RuPaul.
Now
But
that I do think so.
But the main reason I didn't is because I do think Ruby is incredibly talented. I would like her to have a little bit more time to more clearly define her personal drag aesthetic. Because what we got on season 3 was very good. She's a great performer, and she did give us some amazing looks. I would want her to have a little bit more time to be a drag race queen before coming back. That's simply what it was for me. But I love her, and if she is on, and there is a very high likelihood she will be on All Stars, I will be rooting for Ruby because I do really love
enjoy her. I really enjoy her.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, moving on, we have number 9, receiving 9 points overall. This is our only queen that is not from Drag Race France to make our overall top 10 lists.
Let me guess.
This is
only because of Logan.
I'm going to
only
guess
because of me.
This is Kiki from Canada's Drag Race, isn't it?
It sure is.
I know you.
I love Kiara. I absolutely love her. I don't think she was appreciated as much as she should have been on season 1 of Canada's Drag Race. I actually think if she were to be judged by someone other than Brooklyn, I actually think she would be wildly successful. Her drag has elevated so much since season 1 of Canada's Drag Race. I think she's in a great place now with her career. I just would like to see Kiara back on Drag Race, period. Whether it's France All-Stars, whether it's a Canada versus the World, a global, something like that. I just want to see her, and I could not put together my list without putting Kiara.
Yeah. Season 1 of Canada's Drag Race is a top 5 season across the board for me. So I am here for as many people from that cast snatching as many crowns as possible. So
Absolutely.
I would. Kiki wasn't one of my main favorites in that season, but she was still very good and showed a lot of potential for the future.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't be mad at it, even though it's a little weird for her to be on an all-star season for France. But Jimbo did it for US, so who knows?
That was exactly, and that's why I put Kiara and I also put Peach on my list, because I would like to see them broaden the scope of casting to francophone peoples, and that's a lot of the reason why I put Kiara on there.
Come on, Chloe Clark, you can do it.
No,
I want Chloe Clark to be on All Stars France, All Stars Philippines, All Stars España,
You're
just
so
all the
stupid.
franchises
You're
where she's like, what is everybody saying?
God, no, you
You're
can't
so
do this to our Chloe.
Oh,
I
Chloe's like,
wanted,
what?
and I'll say this, and we talked about it earlier today. I so desperately wanted to put Chloe on this list simply because she's from Drag Race Belgique, but the baby didn't know what anybody was saying, and she is a friend of the pod, and she would have yelled at all three of us had any of us put Chloe on our lists. So, Chloe, we love you. You know that. I hope you will come on to talk Drag Race France All Stars with us, but there was no way I was putting her on this list. But I love Kiki. So, and Lana, you are.
I have no idea who Kiki is, and so I don't have
Right.
much to say. But she looks great in this picture.
She is great. She is the losing half of my favorite lip sync of all time, featuring her and Priyanka. So that is another reason why I was like, I need more Kiki. Simply, if it's just to see her perform again on TV, I want Kiki. So, regardless. Number 8 is the first of several ties that we have between our lists. Both of these queens received 10 points overall from our aggregate lists. And the two queens that we have at number 8 are Norma Bell from season 3 and Cookie K. And I'm not going to say the rest for monetization purposes. Cookie from season 2.
Period. I mean, I like both of these queens. I like both of them. Norma was, she was just so special to me. I loved her. So I would love to see her back. I don't know if this is the right time because it's just a year off, not even a year shy of where she just left the show. But do I care? No. I just want to see Norma back on my TV. And so I'll be happy to see Norma because she was just such a breath of fresh air for me. And Cookie, come on.
Fresher breath air.
A fresher breath air. Absolutely.
Exactly.
But Cookie, she's so polished. She's so poised. Like Cookie knows who Cookie is. And Cookie went through it with me. The journey that I had with Cookie on the season, I was like, don't like her. Don't like her.
Yeah,
no.
I remember that.
And then it started like, okay, maybe. All right.
It was the Japanese wave painting look that you were really, I remember that distinctly. And you were like, now wait a minute.
That pink. Boy, when she came out that pink and black, I was like, hold on. Hold on. But hold on. But yeah, Cookie, by the end of the season, I was like, okay, Miss K, you done did it. You done did it. You done turned me around on you. I liked her turn around her journey on the show. So I definitely wouldn't mind seeing Cookie or Norma back on my TV. And in an all-star situation, I think it'll be kind of fierce.
Yeah, I will say I did not put Norma on the list, and I will say like in that first episode we were like, okay, she's the star, she's gonna be the star of the season, and it all was just kind of downhill from there. She was still really likable, but she just wasn't delivering in the way that we expected or wanted from her. So I do think she needs a bit more time to really find the growth before she comes back, and that's the reason I held off on putting her on the list. Especially I think her runways could use a lot of improvement, but even a year later maybe that can be done. But I still absolutely need to see Norma at some point. Cookie, like you, was somebody that I had kind of an up and down thing going on with her, but I ended up really liking her. And what I think is special about her is she is a great TV character. She's She's the straw that stirs the drink, so to say. So I do think that she would be there, involved in some conflict. Plus, I think she has a lot to prove because she came in with such a big reputation in season 2. And I really think she's probably got a fire under her to really prove that, hey, the hype that was up like for me before that season, it's real. And this is why. So I would love to see both of these queens back for sure.
Yeah. And I love that, Lana, you had Norma, David had Cookie. I have both of them on my list. And I'm glad that we're talking about them together because I put them on my list for two wildly different reasons. Norma, like we talked about, she was the standout immediately on the season, and we got a little bit of fizzle from her. And her track record for me reminds me of someone like Angeria on her first season. Angeria did end up making it to the finale, but she started very, very strong and then kind of fizzled, and it was a little bit of up in the air. Norma was a very, very similar case. I think where I understand what you were saying about Ruby being able to come back immediately. I think Norma is someone who could come back immediately with a little bit more coin, improve those runways. She's got the raw talent there, and I think her aesthetic is clearer, at least for me. And I think with a little bit of time, a little bit of money, I think she could come back and do incredibly. Cookie is someone I was not going to make this list without having, for that exact reason you talked about, David. I think Cookie is going to walk into France All-Stars and she could win very easily. And if we look at the cast and Cookie ends up winning the season, it would not surprise me in the slightest, because she is polished, she is professional, and her growth even since Drag Race has been absolutely incredible. So I really, really would love to see both of these entertainers back on my TV, again, for wildly different reasons. So, and I love that we have them together. And speaking of people we have together,
and also it's worth noting, this is where, like, if we did do just 10, this is where the actual 10 would start. And that's not shaded. Yeah.
And that's why I did it the way I did, because I could not have the queens that we already talked about.
Not talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So, number 7, these two queens also have a lot in common, and you'll see very shortly. Both of these queens received 11 points aggregated from our 3 lists, and it is Peach from season 2 and Perseo from season 3.
Wow.
I am shocked.
And I will go ahead and say, these are two people that unfortunately only appear on both of y'all's lists. I personally did not have either of them on my list, even though they were very, very shortlisted.
Wow.
There was no way.
I guess I could start then in that case, because I love both of these two. These two are incredible. And quite honestly, if I had made this list, if I had made my list of just Drag Race France queens, these two probably would be on my list. I'll say that much. But I want them both to have a little bit more time in drag. Honestly, that's what it is for me. Peach is so wildly talented, just got a big boost from being a part of the Paris Olympics. Mm-hmm. If Peach is on the cast, I will be rooting for Peach 100% without a shadow of a doubt. And same for Perseo. Perseo is the one more so for me that I just want to see a little bit more elevation in their drag. I personally haven't seen it since the season, and I would love for them to come back on a future, Versus the World, even in España All-Stars, because they do live in Gran Canaria. But both of these queens are phenomenal choices, and I'm glad that they made the list.
I could almost agree with you about Perseo. I could see Perseo maybe needing 2-3 more years, and I would be okay with that. If she didn't make this cast, I would understand why they, didn't. But if she made this cast, I would hope she would take the All-Stars money that they give and elevate the look because the talent is there. She's super talented. She could do all the things. I just want her to elevate the looks, the runways, and all that stuff. And I think, look, but I can agree with you. 2, 3 years, maybe 4 years down the line, they'll do another All Star. She'll come back and eat it up. But Peach, I think, is ready. Peach, I do believe is ready. I feel like Peach could get on this All Stars and learn from the mistakes that they made in their first season and just eat it up because Peach is super talented. All the stuff that they've been doing since season 2, which I have been following, since I follow everybody now on Instagram, I've been seeing all the things that Peach has been doing, and the elevation in their drag. It, I believe Peach is ready. I believe Peach is ready and could come back in this All Star season and do some really, really good things. So, but I just really love Perseo. So I'm just like, I feel like Perseo is like my Norma. It's like Norma. Yes. Do I think they can use more time? Sure, absolutely. But do I want to see them back on my screen? Yes, absolutely. I feel like she's the canary queen that gives us what the Canary Queens do, but in a useful way, in a different type of like whimsical way from what I've seen of other Canary Queens. And the Canary Queens they just fierce in their own right, and so it's just amazing. But I want to see her back. I just want to see her back at some point.
Yeah, I do too. For Perseo, like, yeah, I could see her waiting a few years. That's fine. But I think she did so well in season 3. And really the thing that they kept critiquing her for were her runways being too similar. She's got that note now. She can fix that very easily. So I think her with that knowledge, she could be a force in an all-star season because she's incredibly talented. But I'm okay with waiting for her. I don't need to see her. I have to see Peach. I have to see Peach. I don't think we all knew how much Peach is actually the future of drag. Like, it feels like other franchises are catching up where Peach has been. And Peach was pretty new to drag when she was on Drag Race France season 2. And she's just got this incredible aesthetic. She's incredibly talented. She was robbed, honestly. Like, she went home way too early in her season. She did come back and went home again, but I can't believe she's showing up on the list now. I thought she was easily a lock for our collective top 5. But yeah, Peach is somebody. I think Peach is the first one that's shown up so far that could be a real contender to win. And one more thing, I think France is infamous for sending somebody home in an incredible look each time.
Mm-hmm.
And Peach is the one from season 2. That Titanic look, like, crazy that she went home in that look. That was so good. And the other 2 people will be showing up.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm very upset. I've just looked at my list. I can't believe why I put Peach, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't believe where you put Peach either.
I can't believe why I put Peach at
This
all.
is speaking as the man who didn't put Peach on
Didn't
my
put
list.
Peach on there at all, but I'm looking at it. I just went back
When
and
you
looked.
look at my overall list, you'll see,
But-
you'll see.
I think she was 4 for
but-
me.
Yeah, she was much
correct.
lower. Which
I
is
have everyone's
unnecessary.
list in front of me.
David,
No, yes.
when our overall list comes up, do not hate me. I'm sorry. I
No, I
don't know
won't.
where my head was at because
It's
I apparently was
Well-
smoking something before I put this list
Well,
together.
and
Because
to be fair, to break the fourth wall, Lana sent me her list and then didn't realize that it needed to be in order of who she wanted to see the most.
I just sent it like, okay, the first 3 is season 1, the second 3 is season 2.
Oh.
And then I just did that way, and then Logan was like, "Oh no, you have to do it in the order of," and I was like, so yes,
Yeah.
blame it on the brain.
This
I'm
is the
old.
first time we've done this kind of format for things for fan cast. This is the first fan cast video we've done.
This is the first fan
Ever?
cast I've been on. So if y'all have done any more,
I think this is
before
our
that.
first one ever.
I think so too.
Word.
So
We should do them more often, though.
if
we have more All-Stars,
as
we definitely do
more
that.
franchise
Yep.
All-Stars come out,
Yep.
then yes, we will be. So
Absolutely.
absolutely. All right, moving on to number 6. And these 2 queens, the only thing, there's actually 2 things they have in common. They're from the same season of Drag Race France. And they are only on this list because 2 of us put them as our number 1 picks.
And the
And I'll
other
go
2
ahead
of
and
us
say-
didn't put them on the list.
Not at all. And it is me and Lana. Our number 1 picks come in here at number 6 with 12 points each. And that is my number one pick, La Brioche from season 1, and Lana's number one pick, Soa de Muse, also from season 1, and the, oh God, what is her title? International Peacemaker and International Lip Sync Assassin.
Yes. And I will say I put her on the list, knowing that it probably won't happen because she was on Global. And I was like, that's fine. I don't know if they're going to put that into...
Probably not.
And that's fine. But I was not going to walk through here and not put Soa the Muse on my list because she should be on my list. And so she was. There we go.
Period.
That's all. Oh, and the brioche, I didn't really get much from her from the 4 episodes that I watched. So, but sure, she looks gorgeous in this picture. Love the makeup.
Yeah, for me, La Brioche, I remember somewhat liking her, but she did not leave much of an impression for me. So she probably would have been one of the last people in consideration for me just because I don't remember much of what she did. But Soa, I didn't include, yes, because she was just on Global All Stars. And for me, I feel like things could happen if there's enough All Star seasons for France. Maybe eventually bring her back because you could have things where people come back that have been on other All Star seasons, kind of like the US does now. So, I think Zoa would mop the floor with most of this cast, but I'm okay to wait a little bit before I see her back. But I freaking love Zoa. Zoa is by far one of my favorite France queens.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If they were not already doing other things, Soa, La Grande Dame, and Lolita probably would have made my list, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, I would have put Lolita on my list too, but I'm like, Lolita's hosting.
But she's a literal host. She's not. If she did come back and gag the children, I would love it.
Mm-hmm. And those were my 3 favorite people from season 1.
Which would have been mine too. If I made my list of my top 5, they would have been my top 3. Would have been Soa, Lolita, and La Grande. Mm-hmm. But I would gag if Lolita was like, "Oh no, for the children, let me come back and school these children." I would love it.
Lolita would have my stand card for the rest of my life. If she were to do that, she doesn't need it.
She don't need it, but just because you won't. Sometimes you do stuff because you want to show the girls. You just want to show the girls that
would be like Brooklyn Heights going on to All Stars,
right? You don't have to do it because you got a good, secure job in the franchise, but just to show the girly girls, baby girl, don't forget. Oh, I did this. Oh, I'm about this life
now. Oh, but don't worry. Don't y'all forget that I served the most iconic lip sync of Drag Race France. Still.
Mm-hmm. And Pangina did it.
That.
Yeah. Pangina shocked us when she came and competed. So,
So,
because look, like I said, y'all know I just went back and watched the first couple episodes, and Lolita in that talent show. I was like, you better work.
I will say, Lolita did not get the respect from Drag Race France that she deserved, which is why I'm happy she's a host. So, Soa didn't put on my list because she was just on Global. I would love to see her get more global exposure from that. La Brioche is my number 1 pick. And the reason why is a lot of it is due to me following her after Drag Race and really seeing her blossom as a beautiful trans woman and, getting the opportunities. And she just popped up on my feed the other day. She just did a whole drag tour and other things in Japan. And but from the moment I saw her on season 1, I just absolutely fell in love with her. There is something so magnetic. Not that queen. We'll talk about her later.
She's coming later.
She's coming much later.
Oh, she's coming much
later. But there's something so magnetic and so beautiful and so raw about La Brioche. And her drag aesthetic just gives me that just French regal quality that I just love so much. So I wasn't going to go without putting her on my list. I am not surprised neither of you put her on yours. So with that, we will move into our overall top 5, which is actually 6 picks. Coming in at number 5, a queen that did appear on not all of our lists, I will say that, but a well-loved queen here, a very well-loved queen here at the Cup, receiving 14 points overall. Number 5 is Moon.
Wait, who's in trouble with me right now?
Lana.
Lana.
I did not do it because I knew y'all was doing it. And I was like, we want to give all the other queens some chance to have exposure as well. And I was like, David is definitely going to put Moon on the list. Logan probably will put
And I
Moon.
absolutely had to.
And so I was like,
Absolutely
I
had to.
don't feel the need to do it. I think she's going to make the list. I want to put somebody else who I didn't think would make the list. And so I didn't put Moon. Right. I wanted Ginger. I wanted Ginger.
Punani.
And Punani, which I really thought Punani was gonna be on the list, but I love Moon. Y'all know I love Moon. We all love Moon here. And I'm like, and my whole thing was, I was like, Moon, come back if you feel like you're ready. That was my whole thing. If she feels that like she is ready and mentally she is in the best space to do it, I would love for her to do it, and I will root for her to do it. But if she don't feel like she's ready, baby, don't do it. Ain't no pressure. You do. But if she came back, I love her. Y'all know I love Moon. But I didn't want to put her on my list because I was like, everybody else go do it. I want to do something that everybody's not going to do so other queens can get the recognition that they deserve. But Moon, absolutely. If she back, baby, I'm rooting for that. I'm rooting for that. That's
what do you think, Logan?
Oh, yes, of course. I will let David.
Yes, we'll let David.
Moon was another person that I immediately thought of when I started making my list, of course. Now, I know that there is a very, very, very high likelihood that she will not go back on Drag Race, and I respect that. I absolutely respect that. She did comment on the post, though. So, and there is a chance. And I want her to come back if she feels like she is ready for it and willing to do it. That is the only scenario where I want to see Moon back on TV. But if she is ready and she feels like she can tackle this journey, I want her. I want her on. She is so talented. She is so beautiful. She brings an aesthetic to Drag Race France that I don't think anyone else has brought. And the way that her brain works is just so interesting to me. She's an incredible performer, and I would love to see her back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously, I freaking love Moon. I've had this Moon in my name here for almost a year and a half now in honor of this Moon, whom I fell in love with immediately on season 2 of Drag Race France. So she is my favorite person on this entire list. I don't even need to see who's coming up. She's my favorite.
Your number one, though.
She was not my number one, and it is for the reason that I am not sure if she's in the headspace to come back or not.
Yeah.
And so I had 4 like really hard locks. 3 of them have yet to show up. But for me, she was the top of everybody who was not a lock. And that's because I really think she would do amazing. And I know people want to see her back. I've seen the looks she has, and she gags people with a lot of the looks she's had post Drag Race. I just want to make sure she's in the right headspace. But I'm optimistic because a lot of the reason why she chose to remove herself came from that gender dysphoria, and she was pretty new into her transition. She's much further into it. So I think she has the security to be able to handle it. And if she's on the season, like, I will be rooting for her above anybody else. And I think she would do extremely well.
Absolutely. I think she would too. So, let's move to our number 4. A singular queen. Popping up on 2 people's lists. Receiving 16 points overall from our aggregated lists. And that is Cam Hugh from season 1.
Oh, only on 2 people's lists?
Yep.
Not mine.
What? Okay. I don't. Okay.
I will go ahead and start out. I will start out with why she doesn't end up on my list. I am happy Cam is on this list. Let me make that very clear. I think Cam is wildly talented and has brought some of the most incredible looks to Drag Race France. For me personally, I have never connected with Cam. That is honestly what it was for me. I've never personally connected to Cam as a person and as a character on Drag Race. Now, there is a very high likelihood she will be on, and I will be excited to see what looks she brings, and I'll be excited to see the elevation and the growth that she has. But for me, there were just other people that I wanted to see back on Drag Race France more. And that's the only reason she's not on my list. So.
Yeah, I honestly I think Cam is probably the biggest lock to be on this season, because
I can see it.
she's by far the person left from season 1 who hasn't been back to Drag Race in some capacity or did not win, who has the fan support, who has been begging to see her on every different All-Star season for the past couple of years. So Cam is going to be back. All she has to do is say yes, and she will be back. And she's going to blow us away with her looks. She's the person, when I think of somebody going home in an incredible look, she is the first person I will always think of, because the fact that she went home in that look that she was wearing, and I showed it to you, Lana, today, like I still cannot believe it, because it was perfection. Maybe a top 3 look ever on Drag Race France. So she's coming back for sure. And I'm excited for it. I hope she's more well-rounded in her skill set. But yeah, she'll be there.
For me, I just, like I said, she was somebody who I only saw in the first 4 episodes of that season, and for her, it wasn't her personality that brought me in. It was her looks. It was the first 4 looks that I saw her in. I was just like, oh, this baby know what she doing. This baby know what she doing. I'm here for it. I kind of she kind of gagged me. And so I thought I was like, if anybody's going to, like, I don't know what she did post Drag Race or anything like that, but I was like, if anybody's going to come back from this season and give the girls a run for their money, it's this one right here. It's this one right here, because not only did she had time and she was able to collect coin and then and more experience, but she was already this good in her season. So it can only go up from here. You can only elevate it from here. So I think she deserves to be on this list, and the way y'all talking, she's probably a lock in, and I'm happy about that. I want to see her, and I think maybe she will have the arc that we had with Vanity. Maybe she'll come back and you'll have that connection with her. Maybe
I would love to, because she is wildly talented. I would love that. But
I think she is somebody who could show, like, not only have I elevated my style and my fashion in this drag world, but I've elevated the way I am and the way I, present myself.
Growth in both the drag and within herself.
Absolutely. So I'm excited. I hope she is back, and if she's got the fan support, like you said, David, she definitely will be back. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, most definitely. So let's move to number 3. And from here on out, all 4 of the queens that we will talk about in the last 3 rankings are queens that all 3 of us have on our list. And these are the only 4 that all 3 of us have on our list. So coming in at number 3, receiving 22 points overall from our aggregated lists, is Vespi.
Oh. Period. Deserved. 100%. I feel like she was gone too soon, but she wasn't quite ready in the season. But I think her coming back and watching her at post Drag Race, which I have been doing, she is ready. She was young then. She's a little bit older, but she's still so dang pretty. God, she's pretty. And I think the experience that she had from being on the show and then what she's doing now, if she comes back, man, she is going to be a force and I will be rooting for her. I really, really, really like her. And I really hope they see the potential in her and bring her back because she deserves. I think out of a lot of people, she deserves to be back, especially from that season. She deserves to be back because she went out on a situation that just wasn't her fault. It was just malfunction after malfunction. And it's just like,
Yeah.
what can you do? But I feel like she has so much potential. Man, I want to see her back. God, I want to see her back.
I'm actually really gagged she's this high, but I'm here for it because I think of everybody on this list, like she's the biggest wild card because we didn't get to see much of her. And we went through a journey when we saw them meet the queens where you're like, who's this? Meh. Out early.
Yeah.
And then the season started.
But
the season started and we're like, oh, wait, we like her.
right.
There's a lot of raw potential. And it just doesn't feel like it was even close to being realized. So I think she could do incredibly well on an all-star. She could also go out really early on an all-star season. Either thing would not surprise me, but it's just the mystery behind it that is so intriguing, and that's why I kind of need to see her back.
I share a lot of the same sentiments that both of you do. I'll go ahead and say Vespi was number 2 on my list because she is, for me, one of the people from Drag Race internationally that I think deserves another shot. She is so wildly talented. And like you said, Lana, I have been following her also since her season. And the growth is there. She is polished. She is primed. And this is an opportunity for her to come back and show, no, what happened on that season was a fluke. And it was a series of things out of my control. She needs to come back. It's not even a want. It's not even a should. It's a need. If she wants to be there, she should be there. And she needs to be there. I love Vespi. I love Vespi so much.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Our number 2 pick. Again, someone that did appear on all 3 of our lists. Receiving just 1 point higher than Vespi with an aggregate total of 23 points. That is Sarah Forever, the runner-up from season 2.
Wow.
Wait.
This
Somebody
low?
is not on this list that...
Just wait.
Oh, okay.
Just wait.
Right.
Yeah. I'm kind of gagged she's this low because for me, she is like the Alaska of this group, like the Chad Michaels of the group, like the person that the all-star is made for because she had such an incredible run in season 2 of Drag Race France that she feels like a winner. Like she feels like it's like, oh, it's unfortunate for you that you were on the same season as Kiona because otherwise you would be a winner. You would probably be the best winner of Drag Race France. You would be a top tier winner across the world. So I really think like the crown is hers for the losing going into the season. That's why I put her for number 1 on my list because it just feels like this is her moment. This is our moment. You have to show us if you're going to falter or if you're going to still be that incredible queen you were in your first run. And I'm sure she will be. So for me, like, I think this is the biggest no-brainer of anybody.
Yeah, I think Sarah Forever winning is not far-fetched at all. Like, she was an amazing queen in season 2. Like, amazing. She was one of my favorites. Like you said, if it's too bad she was on the season with Kiona, because if Kiona was not there, Sarah Forever winning. She's winning. No, hands down, she was winning.
Winning against one of the best casts ever.
One of the best casts. And I could only see her drag going up from season 2. Like, so if she was already that amazing in season 2, what has she been doing and elevating from? How do you elevate from great? Because she was great. And so you take great and you elevate even greater to greatness of the greatest, like perfection. Duh. Like, no brainer. I don't know why she was where she was on my list, but she was definitely there. But I was I just really, I agree with you. This is her crown to lose if she comes back. Unless she just really has a huge nosedive in the competition. I just can't see that for Sarah.
Yeah.
She was one of my favorites last season. Well, in her season, and I can't see it being any different if she makes it to All Stars.
Yeah, Sarah is someone who is on my list. I will admit she is lower on my list, simply just because there were other people that I was more excited about getting more opportunity on Drag Race, but Sarah was a lock on my list without a shadow of a doubt. I knew Sarah was going to be on my list. I knew Sarah was going to be on all of our lists because she is stupid talented. And I do think, honest to God, looking at everyone we have on our combined aggregate list, she is the one to beat. She is absolutely the one to beat. And I want to see more of her kooky sensibility, and I think she will be there. If she wants to be there, she will be there. And I would like to see it. And I will be rooting for her without a doubt. So
period. Love her. I love her. I love her so much.
Yes. And don't worry, Lana and David. Don't you worry one little bit.
Who could it be?
I think it's several M's.
Several M's.
I think it is a duo of M's, and that's the
only
thing we have in common.
I think it's a duo of M's.
Of course, in classic style for us, of course, there's a tie for number one. And that's why we ended up including all of the ties, because there was a tie for number one. Both of these queens received 28 points in our aggregate lists. Of course, two of our favorites. It is Mami Wata from season 2 and Magnetica from season 3. Of course.
Period.
Don't worry, they both made the list, I promise. They're just both number one.
I was very annoyed. I knew Magnetica was up there, and I was like, if I was the only person to put and how come she wasn't the honor? Oh, yeah, no. Mami Wata, Magnetica, y'all, come on. Like, if you watched any cup related show when it came to France,
Mami Wata,
you knew we was feeling Mami Wata, and you knew we was feeling Magnetica. Like, we were so annoyed on this podcast when Magnetica went home. So, like, I feel like we went in mourning when Magnetica went home. It was like, are you kidding? What? No. And we were robbed of so many great looks from Magnetica. So I feel like Magnetica coming back, having her chance at All Stars, just seems right. It just seems right. And Mami Wata, I feel like the growth that she's had since her season, I'm ready. I'm ready to see Mami Wata back. And I feel like she would do it. And I feel like Magnetica would do it. I just really want both of them to do it. I just really want both of them to do it. And I feel like they deserve to be there in that all-star setting. And I want to see what they do. I want to see it. Oh, I love them.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, when Magnetica went home second in her season, in that incredible look, which... That's a third of them. It was Cam in season 1, Peach in season 2, Magnetica in season 3. They are not afraid to send somebody home in a full cup worthy look. But that was shocking to me. It was disappointing. And I really think that was the start of the reason why season 3 of Drag Race France might be my least favorite season of this year. Just because it was so disappointing and I just couldn't recover. Magnetica absolutely needs to be back. I need to see all of her runways this time. She just was robbed, like the epitome of robbed. So I need to see her back. Mami Wata, on the other hand, I'm surprised it was even a tie between these two because Mami Wata was number 2 on my list. She is somebody absolutely who has to come back. She has more charisma than almost anybody in this entire cast. She's so lovable. She's so talented. She was so slept on, despite making the finale of this season. And her real thing is her runways weren't amazing.
Yep.
Guess what? That's going to be fixed. So
Yep.
I honestly, like, she's another person that could be a dark horse and win this. And
You
I
want to
would
hear
be here for it.
You want to hear the crazy thing, David?
What's that?
Magnetica was 2 on my list, and Mommy Watcher was 3 on my list.
Oh, wow.
And
Yep.
I will say, I'm about to show our overall lists, but the reason they are tied is because Lana does have them both in her top 3. And between me and you, David, we each have one of these two lower on our list.
Mm-hmm.
And that is ultimately why they're tied.
Yeah, Magnetica, I think, was 6 for me.
Yeah, and Mami Wata, I will say, was 6th for me, which is why it ended up the way it is. But I love both of these two. I agree with you. Mami Wata has some of the most charisma we've ever seen from a queen on Drag Race, for sure. She falls into that category of, with just a little bit more money, she could be the Mo Hart, she could be the Monet, she could be the queen that turns it all around and does incredibly. And I would love to see that. And then for Magnetica, I just want to see more of her. I just want more Magnetica. Period. Like I just want more Magnetica. She provides such a unique POV, like we were talking about with Moon. She provides such a unique POV. Both of these queens do, actually. They provide such a unique POV that no one else that we've seen, maybe on Drag Race ever, have been able to replicate. And I just want Magnetica to get more time to show. Similarly to Vespi, it was just kind of a fluke that sent me home as early as I did. So
right.
Any more thoughts on these two, or do we want to look at the lists?
Let's look at the list.
So the reason why they ended up tying is because between the three of us, 2 of us have we have them at number 2, number 3, and number 6 collectively.
That's
wow.
funny.
That's wild.
Yep.
That's wild.
I will say for y'all, none of your choices surprised me whatsoever. The main one I was surprised by. Who did I say earlier, Lana? I was surprised. Oh, I was surprised you didn't have Cookie on your list.
Yeah.
So, but yes. Yeah, I have Sarah at 11 only because there's other people I want to see.
Your list is wild, Logan.
Wild. I know it is. It's just based on who I want to see. And that's really what it is. So.
Yeah. I don't know why Peach is at 11. That's all I'm saying. I was just like trying to move stuff around.
I don't know why Peach isn't on my list. I'm gonna be honest. She's the one that like I wasn't gonna change my list, but she was the one I was like, oh, I really should have put Peach on my list. Maybe I just I wrote it wrong and I wrote Peach and I meant Peach. Maybe. I don't know. Regardless, no, I love Peach just as much. But that is that. That is some fan casting for Drag Race France All-Stars. So, thank you for joining us for this video. Do you agree with our list? Let us know your fan casts down in the comments below. We definitely want to hear all of it, so make sure to let us know. In the meantime, we've got a lot of drag coverage going on this channel. In fact, for the first time in Drag Race history, there are 6 active drag franchises that we are covering on this here channel. So if you want to check out our coverage of Dragula, Drag Race Thailand, Drag Race UK, Canada's Drag Race España, or God, I forgot one. Down Under. Drag Race Down Under. Make sure to check out our coverage here on the Cup for all 6 of those shows. Thankfully, 2 of them are ending next week, so we only have to do 6 franchises for 2 weeks. Thank God. Thank you, UK, and thank you, España. Regardless, make sure to check out all of our content here. Make sure to go check out our coverage of the first 3 seasons of Drag Race France. Those are also available on this channel. And check out the description below where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, our Patreon, our social media, and where you can get your merch, including but not limited to cup, mug. And with all that being said, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Cheers.